Good day, everybody. I am here with Miss Cherise Ford from J3, one of the J3 bosses, the teachers that has had a tough time. She's only been there for 2 years, and she's had a challenge in terms of finishing the curriculum for the kids, a very critically and important time. But what I'm hearing is that Miss Ford has done an outstanding job, and the kids rave about her. So without further ado, Miss Ford, give me a little bit about who you are outside of St. Gabriel's School before we get to the school talk.
Okay, so outside of St. Gabriel's School, I'm actually a family girl. I have 2 boys, and most of my time is spent with them, doing things for them, with them. Yes, that's just my life outside of school, honestly. Beach days where I'm supposed to be with my friends, with my boys. So yes, the kids.
Sweet. How old are the boys?
My older boy, he's 8, and then I have a toddler, he's 2.
Ooh, your hands are full, my friend. We have 8-year-olds and a 4-year-old, and there's a lot of action going on, especially through COVID. Yeah. So tell me a bit about getting into the school thing now. You were started at St. Gabriel's last September, you were telling me, or 2 years ago, not last September, the September before. And that was smack in the middle of the pandemic, and it must be a little nerve-wracking now that you're seeing the kids going in J4 the year after you're going to do the 11 plus. So how was that online experience, and how are you looking forward to the kids doing 11 plus right now?
All right, so first I should start off by saying when I first came to the school, I worked as an assistant. So I would have had the opportunity to work along Mrs. Chandler and Mrs. Wood. And I learned a lot from them. Right, so then I was able to transfer that knowledge into I started teaching as a J3 teacher from last September. Right, so I was able to bring that knowledge and the experience to my J3's. So how has it been? I love the children, and from being online, I can't say that, well, in following the syllabus, we managed to cover the topics online the topics we were supposed to cover. We managed to do that, but we realized then that when we came back into school, even though we covered them, there was a lot of revision to do. So we spent majority of the term still going forward, but then finding time to manage the revision part of it and still the new topics needed. So I think we covered everything actually this term. So I would say that we are on track. I can actually boast about that. I think my co-partner, my co-teacher would agree. I
am confident in you guys. I'm very confident in you all.
I may be overconfident. I don't know, but
well, it's challenging times. But given the results from last year, for 11 plus, we did outstandingly well. The kids continue to do well, and then we had the results, from the spelling bee and so on. So clearly, what we're doing in these critical times are working. And again, at your stage, it's a challenge because you're now at that very important level of learning, but also the kids are maturing, so they're no longer toddlers, they're no longer in infants, they're now juniors, and, they have a heavy activities. Some of them do tennis and sports and all this stuff. So it's very commendable for what you're doing and how you're doing it. But in terms of getting back, in terms of face-to-face, how was that being? I know there must have been a little bit of a social readjustment as well. How's that been for you?
I must say the children made it easy for me, because what I would have learned online was some of the children's capabilities. So there are some students in my class that will balance off the others. There are some students who are really hyper, well, not hyper and can't control themselves, but there are some students who would get a certain response from other students. So it's like one student would say something that's funny, and even though the quieter ones, it's a social interaction in my class that is not exaggerated. So one student would say something that's funny, and then the quiet ones would just go like so it's a comfortable, I don't know how to explain it, that's the truth. We manage.
You manage, and you're managing well.
I think so. I would say so.
Absolutely. So, I know you've been there for 2 years, and unfortunately you haven't been able to take part in sports or the fair or even any of those things, but I know you must have 1 or 2 little moments that you treasure over the last couple of years. You want to share one of them with me, or 2?
Okay, so what I did is a class activity that we did here, because my class, we had to do assembly last week. Yes, last week, Monday. So we did we made a spider web. So we called it a spider web of kindness. I actually showed it, presented it to the school where we did our Bible study class. That was it for me, because I usually try to, I don't know, get the children involved in certain things, right? So since we were doing assembly, decided to get all of them involved, and we created a spider web of kindness, and I allowed them to write down something, I can't even find it now, but anyway, each of them had to write one kind thing about a student in the class, right? And I guess that stood out for me, because I find nowadays children are not nice to each other. So I wanted to reinforce that they need to be, because at the end of the day, when you're kind to others, then they are kind to others, and it's like the same spider web, it continues. So that was my
That's lovely.
aim.
I love that. I love that web of kindness, you know, that's awesome. And that would have been compounded through COVID, you know, because depending on it, some children may have been at home, it could be single children who didn't have any extracurricular activities, and they may have been primarily by themselves for the last 2 years. So just learning how to share and socialize is a lot for these kids, even the ones that have big families. So those kind of initiatives are awesome. I know you guys take them outside sometimes to read, and you give them constant mass breaks and everything you can to keep them cool in these times. And that's also greatly, greatly appreciated. So speaking of teaching techniques, I know you're a great teacher. We've all heard about you. We're almost finished, Miss Ford, I promise. But teaching, what drives you? Why do you love teaching?
All right, first off, let me just say I love mathematics. So you would find me doing maths in practically everything. I find something about math, something to do in comprehension about maths. Everything is centered around maths. Most things, I should say, centered around maths for me. So what drives me? I want the children to have the same experience that I had when I was going to school. I loved school when I was going to school. So I don't know, I guess my experience as a growing up in school drives me, because I want them to love it like I did. So the whole learning aspect of it, making sure that they know certain things, that drives me, to be honest.
That's wonderful. Because a lot of kids love St. Gabriel's, and I think that most of them are very happy to be back face to face. And you all create a really great environment for them. So thank you so much. Welcome to the family officially in person, no longer online. I look forward to meeting you soon. And hopefully you'll get back to the fair and the Christmas stars again, and all these brilliant things. And
I am looking forward to that for sure, yes.
Absolutely. Sports day and field trips and all that good stuff. So welcome to the team. Welcome to the family. We are grateful for you. And I just want you to end by saying who you are and that you love St. Gabriel's. And as I promised you, short and sweet, that's a wrap. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
I am Miss Ford, and I love St. Gabriel's.
Thank you, Miss Ford. Awesome job, my friend. Stay safe and enjoy your Easter break.
Same to you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Every culture, every race, we all have an equal space, and we live in unity. It's unity every day. That is the St. Gabriel's way. You and me in unity is strength. In the class and when we play, it's unity every day. You and me